Hey everyone, welcome to my studio. Here's a photo I took in Killarney, Ireland, and I am ready to turn it into a mosaic. I've already started. I got the foreground and most of the water finished. I kind of have this much more water, and I'm going to bring you along this week a little bit differently. I'm going to tell you how much time I'm spending on it so you can see how far I get and how many hours. And I have a couple hours right now to work, so I'm going to get after it. I took this photo here, blew it up on my computer, printed it out. It was tiled, so it was in 4 pieces, and then decoupaged it down. I used watered down weld bond to do that. There are a few bubbles and a rip, but that's okay. That's just one way to do that. This is a lightweight, I think it's GoBoard underneath here. So nice and flat and lightweight. It's already adhered inside the frame. And let me see, what else do you need to know about it? Oh, you know, this is just one way to do it. A lot of times I like to sketch the landscape in, because when I sketch, I have a lot more freedom of interpretation of how things are going. When there is a photo here, it is extremely difficult to break away from the fine details, to simplify it and to make it my own. You can see I've done that here, but it was a little bit of a struggle because, for instance, this big dark part, I really wanted to put in, but I ended up putting a big piece over here instead, because this perfect piece was only perfect on this side. When I flipped it the other way, it was a different color and it wasn't as nice. So I wanted to use the piece, so I put it on this side. And I do have some darks over there. It's just a little bit different. I am going to finish the water, and then I'll get after this background of trees. There's some mountains, and then I've got a lot of free range to do that sky. And I have been popping a little bit of iridized glass in. Let's see, I've got sprinkled it in the water. And then I have a little bit in the blades of grass, kind of in some of that golden color there. And that's it. that are across the water here. There's not a lot of detail. It's really difficult to see what is going on. However, there is this one bunch of trees right here in front, and that is what I took a little bit of artistic license to put in right here. Now, with when things move into the distance, they tend to gray out and get a little bit duller. So I put bright, warm colors in the front, but over here, I'm gonna try to gray them down. I'm gonna try to cool them down. So I've got some dark purples and greens that are gonna go in next. And then I will get more and more gray as I go into the distance. This is a little bit further back. That's even further back. And you can see how blue the mountain is there. So that's gonna be really gray, grayish blue. Let me get after it. That's 2 hours worth of work. I finished the water over here and I put all these trees in. And I want to show you a little bit these trees in the background and the sort of the rules I've made for myself when I'm putting these pieces in. I didn't bring enough glass with me. I'm not at my own studio. And so I have this dark green, but it's almost got too much saturation in color. So every time I put one of the dark greens in, I have surrounded it with duller colors just to bring that value down a little bit. And from a distance, your eye will blend the colors. It's optical blending. That's what I'm going for here. And it will make it duller, especially where there is purple added. Now, the purple that I have, a lot of it is this sort of violet color. And I really want something that doesn't have so much warm tones to it. I want something that's cooler, but I don't have it with me right now. So I am adding, that's why I've added little bits of the blue green, which is also quite saturated, but it helps to cool it down quite a bit in the background there. So I've got this foreground of trees here. So it's a lot to keep track of, but you can make color blends if you don't have the exact color and just work with what you've got, which happens all the time with stained glass. That's it. I just finished this tree line, and unfortunately, I'm pretty terrible about keeping track of how much time it took. I'm actually in my classroom. I've been here for about 10 hours teaching and putting a piece in here or there. So there's no way to track that. I just can't do it. I'm back in my home studio and I'm planning on making sort of a swoopy sky here, not following what is on the picture exactly. I didn't finish. I want the pieces in the sky to be smaller than this, so I'll be cutting these down here and there, and I don't quite have them all in. I want to get a little bit of yellow in there, just pale yellow, and that's not in there yet, and probably a little bit more of this creamy color. So a ways to go there. I have to do some cutting down and cutting some more pieces to put in there. But I got pretty far. I finished all this background part, which was fantastic, and got a good start on that sky. That's it. That's putting it together. Thanks for watching. See you next time.